Do you need some practical help on your frugal living journey? If you do, I'm in your corner. I have several things that I do on a daily basis that help me to succeed in frugal living, and I know they can help you too. Welcome, I'm Amy, and here at the Frugal Diaries, I give you tips and tools for successful frugal living. Let's talk about some of the things that I do and that you can do along the way. The first one, if you come with me, you can see that my kitchen is not in great shape right now. What you see before you is a kitchen that needs to have the dishes done. And the first thing that I will tell you is that I wash my dishes myself. When I moved into my house, there was space here where I could have put a dishwasher, but I chose not to. I decided the most frugal thing would be to wash my dishes myself, and I'm getting ready to do that. And I have to say, I have found that not having another machine to think about repairing or maintaining, not having to worry about the life of the machine, not having to worry about installing it, not having to think about that sort of machinery in my house has made a big difference to my frugal living. If you already have a dishwasher, I'm not suggesting that you get rid of it or not use it, because I know that they can be efficient in their use of water. But in my case, moving into a house without a dishwasher, it was an easy frugal win to just not get one and wash the dishes myself, as I'm about ready to do right now. Here I have half vinegar, half water, and a few squirts of the dish soap from here, which is already watered down. Let's see what we got here. I prefer this method, and it is one of my favorite frugal wins. Next, let's take a deep dive into my fridge for something that I like to do every day, and you probably have a version of this that you like to do as well. As you can see, I have a fair amount of kimchi in the fridge. I bet you have a fermented food product or drink that you like. Let's talk about what these do for you. So all over the world, people eat fermented foods and drink fermented drinks for health. It's a frugal win because something like kimchi, whether you buy it in the store or whether you make it yourself, or something like fermented sauerkraut or fermented pickles, or even sourdough that you use in sourdough bread, or something like kombucha, or its honey sweetened cousin jun. These kinds of foods and drinks are all made with our health in mind. The ingredients are inexpensive. The process of making it is just a little bit of space, a little bit of time, and a jar. I really can't say enough about eating fermented foods. Tell me, what do you like to eat that is particularly healthy and particularly frugal, whether it's fermented or not? Next up, let's take a walk to my kitchen cabinet for something that I just learned and that I really can't wait to share with you. You may already know this, and you may have been using this for years. If so, pat yourself on the back. Here we go. When you have those times of occasional indigestion, the good old baking soda is your friend. Now, all you need to do is add a measuring teaspoonful of baking soda to some water. Stir it in until it dissolves, and drink. I'm not entirely sure what wizardry is at work here, but if you suffer from occasional indigestion from eating your fermented foods or from anything else, a frugal way to deal with it is baking soda and water. If you have serious medical conditions that prohibit using baking soda in your daily life, this will not work, of course. If you have a disease like GERD, this isn't going to be anything other than a simple stopgap. But if you're like me and just occasionally you think, oh, I wish I had some Tums, you don't need Tums. You just need baking soda. So whether you ate too much kimchi last night for dinner or whether you just need a little extra help today, baking soda and water, it's a frugal win. Next up, I recently talked to you about my coffee making routine, and you folks went crazy for it, and you told me some of your favorite coffee making tips, and I want to do a little bit more of a deep dive into how I make my own coffee. I think I have one of the world's smallest espresso makers. And I like to use this with what I think is considered a double shot, which I decant into this cup that I got at Goodwill. I love it very much. And this mug is what I eventually drink out of. I use half decaf coffee and half caffeinated coffee. I'm not a coffee purist, so I tend to get what's on sale. I love to use unsweetened cocoa powder, just a little bit of sweet and low. That's my inner 70s child. And my collagen peptides, which I use for joints and skin, and I think that they help. So I'm going to share with you what this looks like to put this together, and then I want to talk to you about what you folks have said that makes frugal coffee even more delicious than I knew about. So thank you. One of you recommended putting some cinnamon into the coffee, which gave me a slightly different idea that I have tried and I really liked, which was to add just a shake of pumpkin pie spice, because I like a good pumpkin spice latte, but honestly, I've been spending a little more money on pumpkin spice lattes than I allot in my fall budget. So I still love the cocoa powder, but I'm gonna add just a shake here. Another viewer recommended, instead of using cocoa powder, a small square of unsweetened baking chocolate just dropped into the coffee and melted. Next up, I've got my coffee. What do I want to have with my coffee? Well, let me show you. Would you like to join me for some banana bread and coffee? So, cheers. This lovely banana bread is the first successful banana bread I've made in decades. I am a classic banana bread failure, and I have a long history of throwing away rotten bananas because I couldn't bring myself to make yet another failed banana bread. This banana bread recipe is a game changer for me because it means that I don't have to throw out rotten bananas again. Instead, I can make a delicious treat that I can share with my family. And I hope that you have something like this, that you can use up old food that's getting ready to be expired, or something, some tip that you have when you see this is about to go off, I need to do something with it. Tell me down below in the comments, what do you do with food that's about to go off that you need to use right away? What's your favorite tip? Share it down below. By the way, if you're enjoying this frugal tip about banana bread and about coffee and about all of these lovely things that you can do on a daily basis to be more frugal, then I'd love to invite you to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified first of new videos. I am thinking about starting to share my recipes over on Buy Me a Coffee or in some other way. If you want more, let me know and I'll figure out a really good way to get those to you, because I do want to share what I have, just like I love to hear from you. I'd like to share one more kitchen tip that was a complete surprise to me. Let's go. I bought a rice cooker. I have cooked rice in a regular pot on the stove for decades and just recently bought a rice cooker. Had one when I was younger and had good memories of it. This is a game changer in the kitchen, and it is money well spent because I can make a lot of rice for my small family. I can steam vegetables if I want. It comes with a rice paddle. It comes with the cup measure, but this makes absolutely foolproof rice. We use it all the time and I love it. So for me, the real message here is that sometimes spending a little money actually makes you more frugal, and I would not have thought of that, but I never had rice that I really liked, and so it would sort of go dry and bad in the fridge because I wouldn't want to eat it. And now we use up all the rice that we make, and we make more, and it's delicious. So sometimes spending a little, good idea. Next up, this is taking us out of the kitchen and into the household and into my everyday life. I own one, that is one purse or bag or whatever you call it. I'm going to show it to you and explain why I only own one. You may not wish to own one, but I do, and I recommend making your bag game as small as possible. I got this bag at Target several years ago, and I'll use it until it wears out. I like it because it has the shoulder strap, and I can also carry it, you know, just over my forearms. It has lots of pockets. It has lots of room. It's expandable here at the bottom. If you get into the habit of buying a new bag for every outfit, which I think you probably don't since you're here on this channel, but you might have different bags for different purposes, then you're constantly having to change what you put into the bag, and then you have to buy different things that go into each bag. So you have different accessories, so to speak, for each bag. That increases your cost. It increases your time and your clutter in your house because you have to keep changing things over. You have to make more decisions in your day. Now, if you are a bag person, I recently was at the thrift store and found a huge selection of really good quality, really good condition bags that other people had decided to declutter. And so if you want to get a new bag, I recommend starting at your local thrift store and seeing what you can find. If you need to get an additional bag for some purpose that is important to you, same thing. Try a thrift store first. But I recommend to myself and to you, my frugal friend, that you keep your bag game small. Have one purse or just a few purses if you can stand it. Now let's move on to Goldie. Goldie is my golden retriever, and she showed up in a couple of videos, and somebody suggested that I should have a YouTube channel called Goldie's Frugal Diaries. I can barely keep up with this one YouTube channel, but I think that's great. So we're gonna do a little Goldie's Frugal Diaries segment right now. And my frugal Goldie tip is that I wash her myself. She is a family dog. She's not a show dog. So I take care of all of her washing needs, and it's a little complicated. So I have some puppy formula that I use, and then she gets fresh breath stuff. And I also have the really pricey stuff from the vet. This is medicinal. I think you have to have a prescription to get it. I'm not sure, but it was really expensive. And so I mix these two or alternate. Because I live in the tropics, she gets bathed pretty often. So if you wash and brush your dog yourself, you get to know your dog a little bit better. You can see when their health is declining or increasing. You can talk to the vet more intelligently. If you have a show dog and you need to get it specially groomed, overwhelmed for another reason, then absolutely go for that. But in the case of Goldie, the frugal diary for the day is wash the dog. Now moving around the house, I have told you before that I like to declutter gradually, and I have a video on decluttering that I've linked up above, and I recommend you watch it if you need some help with decluttering because it can take a little time. And I have been showing you my progress. Here's where it is today. My desk is now a place that I can do work. I have my work laptop and my personal laptop right there, and I have a pile that I need to sort through probably this week. This is suddenly a workable space. It's not done, it's not perfect. And I say this because I know a lot of us who are into frugal living also, we challenge ourselves to stock up on things, and then we try new things that are more frugal, and it can make more piles of stuff in our house, but we're not sure what to do with it. Whatever we do, we can do it gradually. I want to take you outside again and show you my beautiful flowers. In one of my recent videos, I talked to you about what it's like to try to live frugally while escaping from or recovering from an abusive situation. And many of you responded to say that this really resonated with you and you felt this very deeply. For those of us who have come out of situations where we have been abused emotionally, physically, financially, frugal living can be a joy and also a challenge. And I would like to share with you that it is possible to become our true selves. It may be gradual, just like decluttering. It may be 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. It may be that we don't know exactly how we're going to get where we're going. But I'd like to encourage you to join me on the journey to freedom. We were made for bigger things. There are many factors in each person's abuse story and life history. So I don't really want to try to get too personal with this. I do want to encourage you, though, that frugal living can become part of the core of who you are as you go forward, as it has become for me. I want to talk to you about one of my favorite YouTubers, Dr. Ramani. I'm going to link one of her recent videos up here where she talks about how we are ships meant to sail the ocean, not to be stuck in the port. And we can do this through frugal living. I trust you and I trust me, and we can do it. We're back in the house for something that I never thought I would do, but that I have to share with you. I am starting to learn to DIY, and this comes straight out of my frugal living journey from coming out of abuse. I never believed that I could do this. I never thought I had the talent, and I thought just the other day, I was like, why? Why do I think I can't DIY? I can frost a cake. Why can't I spackle a wall? And so I'm giving it a try. Here's what I've got so far. Here I had some deep gouges in the drywall, and you can barely see there where I've plastered over them. And I may paint, I may just sand it down because it's pretty close to the paint color. And then over here, I bought towel racks, and I'm gonna learn to put them up. And I also bought a drill. I thought to myself, I could spend this money paying somebody to come and do it, or I could buy the drill once and learn. And then I'm going to replace these guys. I'm going to do this myself using my screwdriver, my drill, my spackle. This spackle was so much fun because it goes on pink and you can tell it's dry because it turns white. I love that. So if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you know I've always said I'm not a DIYer. Let's find out how long that lasts now that I'm learning to DIY. If you need to trust yourself on a project, go to someplace where they talk to you nicely down at the hardware store, ask them for tips, and try something small. That's what I'm doing. Join me. Tell me, what are you DIYing this weekend? What is your favorite frugal tip? Something you do every day, something you may not even think of as a frugal habit because it's just like brushing your teeth. Share with us down below in the comments. And also know this, wherever you are on your frugal living journey, take the next step, whatever that next step may be for you. And know that you are not alone. I am so proud of you. Live frugally, change your life, and together we will change the world. I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye-bye.